Nah, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I definitely had to make sure I reacted to this video because I'm probably one of the youth people look at it and say he may give certain insight and speak a part in a certain manner to which both demographics can understand. What I mean by both demographics, I mean our elders, but also my youth in the generation I live in, right? But I seen this video where Deon Cole, and I just learned about who he is. He made a reaction to Kai Cenat being at the BET Awards. Was like he ain't know certain people behind the scenes. I'm gonna do a reaction to it, but for those that don't know, I'm gonna actually play the video first, and then I'm gonna give y'all my reaction. And I'm gonna let y'all know how I feel about the situation because I believe it's a learning experience for both generations, the elders, those that came before us, as well as my generation. So I'm gonna make this reaction, but first I'm gonna watch the video with y'all because I want y'all to gain an insight onto what took place for those that don't know, and then we're gonna get into it. So I'm gonna play it now.
It was like, yo, like people, this network hired this really big, I don't want to say motherfucker's name.
All right, I'm gonna stop there. First thing I do respect is that he didn't even say no names. Like he was addressing the situation, he didn't say no names. I noticed a lot of people try to get clout and publicity or for just shouting out people names, but I respect them for at least not trying to shout out the person. But you want to hear various times everybody else on the podcast mention who the streamer it is that he's talking about. But the fact that he wasn't gonna go up there and like make it a known thing and try to gain publicity off of saying his name, I respect that. I respect that.
Thanks. Hired this really big streamer, the biggest streamer out there, right?
Oh, shit.
So they hired this person to come to the award shows and do vaccine shit, right?
Yes, I saw it.
And this motherfucker was like, yo, like people was like, he was going up to people like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Wale.
Like,
I don't
know who that is. And his excuse was, don't blame me because I'm young.
Right.
And that was so disrespectful to me because
Wale took it personal. You seen that?
I met him.
Wale wanted the African dance.
Look, I was backstage and I met I met dude one time backstage, and he walked backstage and I was like, hey, and he was like this. And he walked off and he was with I like that dude, the blonde hair, the Drewski. He was with Drewski. Yeah, Drewski looked at me and was like this. What's up, OG? How you doing, man? I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I love everything you do. Then he went to him and was like, man, you know, OG, you funny as hell, you know? And he was like this. And just walked off and shit. And I was like this. That's cool. That's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm good. That's all good, right? But when you go on the record and say, when they trying to go this baby face, and this is this person and that person
on the red carpet with baby face.
You like, but they asked him, and he was like this. I don't know these people. I'm young. Don't blame me because I'm young. That was terrible to do, and to hire him to be your representation at an award show that you got icons and you got younger people. I think it's like disrespectful. And that's, I'm not trying to beef and shit. I'm just going. If you're going to be in that position, do your research about when you see icons and give them love when you see them, period.
All right, so now let me give y'all my take on it. I ain't gonna lie, I respect him not mentioning Kai Cenat's name, but everybody else mentioned it. But the thing about it, and what I don't like, is that they under the assumption that people supposed to know who they are. And I don't like that because what I come to understand is that you got to understand that we are a new generation. And a part of being a new generation is that there's some information that has not been passed down to us. Be honest with you, I don't even know who Deon Cole is. I never heard of him before. And he's on a podcast called Drink Champs. For those that don't know what Drink Champs is, it's hosted by a former artist or rapper named Noriega. Be honest with you, I didn't even know Noriega was a rapper. The only way I knew him was through Drink Champs. I'm saying that all to say that the older generation got to understand that a lot of the people that they look to as influencers or had an impact, they know them simply that they know them, right? Simply because they lived through certain experiences, but to know that those people who are their references are reference us in a different means. What I mean by that again is like a prime example. The person that hosts Drink Champs, his name is Noriega. Many people may know Noriega as a rapper. I don't know him for that. I know him simply for Drink Champs. That's the reality. You got to understand that a new generation has been introduced to certain people that were prominent in the past, but through a different means. So we see them in a reference in a different lens. Another example, I'm not going to lie, Method Man. I did not know Method Man was a rapper. And some people may have known that. But I knew Method Man simply through power. That's reality, right? But some people may say, oh, that's ignorant. That's not necessarily ignorant. You have to understand that a new generation has learned about certain people through different streams and mediums. We don't know them through the same extent that you knew them. And I've been in that situation. That's why I can understand what Kai Cenat meant when he like, I don't know what that is, because when my video went viral when I went to Syracuse, various shared it. DL Hughley, CC Winings, right? And some of these people, I'm not gonna lie, when they were sharing it, I had to show my mom, Joanne Reed. I'm like, yo, ma, I ain't gonna lie. My mom and my parents and them telling me, my step-pops for sure. He like, yo, I shared your thing. I shared it. And I looked down like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who they are. I do. How am I supposed to know? Is the other question. You're assuming that a new generation is supposed to just know those that came before them. I'm not saying that we ought not to do our due diligence. Yes, there is a responsibility that we ought to do, where we ought to do the research to learn about those that came before us. Absolutely correct. But there's even some individuals, even as you study history, you will not come across. Deon Cole, do not know him. It's not like he Richard Pryor. You feel me? And I'm not going to try to make like a tier system of notoriety, but there is some people you know. But there is some other individuals miss in that trajectory. Even as I study history, certain scholars I never heard about until I was in class and the professor brought it up. I just learned recently about Elaine Locke. He was the dean of the Harlem Renaissance. Many people may not even know who that is. That's not to say I'm ignorant. It's to say that even through research and doing our due diligence, there's some people that we still have to be taught about. And what I'm saying that to say that there's also a responsibility, as I'm saying, there's responsibility of the younger generation to do their due diligence and research and learn about those that came before them. There's also a responsibility of those that came before us to teach us about those that came before us. That's real life. They use another example like Babyface. I don't know who Babyface is. I'm not going to say Kai Cenat. Don't know who he is either. All right. I'm not to say that he should not know, but who's to say he should know? And that's a powerful thing to think that people should just know you. Like, niggas don't know you. That's not, nobody not trying to be, we not trying to imply or be disrespectful or disregard the contribution you have made. But what I am trying to say that there's a dual responsibility. The first one's for us as youth to learn. I give them that. Yes, if you're going to host the BET Awards, there should have been some research you've done into the people that's going to be there. But even to that extent, there's thousands of people at the BET Awards. He's not going to reach 1,000 people. That's not realistic. The second thing is you're going to miss some people. And I'm not going to know fully to the extent what your contribution was to the industry. That's reality. But the second part is who's going to teach us? Rather than being so quick to judge, who's going to say this is how we ought to teach who has came before? We live in a time period they trying to remove history in all regards. Feel me? And it's the responsibility now falls on our elders, and no one ever takes responsibility for that to say, nah, we didn't do a good job teaching. So what I'm saying is, like, I agree to an extent that, yeah, Kasha did some research, but I disagree with the fact that he was disrespectful for not knowing. We all do not know. And the only reason why some of y'all do know is because y'all lived through certain time periods. That's a fact. A lot of y'all know certain people because you lived during that time period. Nigga, you 75, 80, 65, 54. Parents was playing some music when you was our age. We know Michael Jackson, may know like a R. Kelly, may know various. I got 1,000 artists that I like in old school music I listen to solely because my mom played them. Period. Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross. This because my mom was playing these people. You feel me? And I'm like, oh, nah, I learned that because I remember my mom playing the song. Even if I didn't know the artist, I knew the song. And then when I looked at the artist, I'm like, oh, I remember that because my mom was playing when I was younger. So some of y'all know certain people only because you was exposed to at our age. The fact of now is that our parents may not even play that. And we have younger parents. Now, younger parents don't listen to no Noriega. That's not to be disrespectful. There's some artists that have maintained their prominence throughout time periods. We know 50 Cent for sure. You feel me? We know Wu-Tang Clan now. Get me? A lot of people don't know Rakim. But and some people say you should know where rap originated. I just learned about Rakim recently. I just learned about it was another group in Queens. I'm forgetting not the 5%ers. It was another group, Sonny Carson. I'm forgetting the name of it, but I just learned about them. Like, let me look this up because I don't want to. Music group in Queens, because I don't want to lie. I want to give you straight up. I can't recall what the name is right now, but I'm just learning about that, and I learned that through being in conversation with somebody that came before me. And through them educating me, just in conversation, I like to talk to those that came before me. I like to talk to my elders. And he was just running me through game like, yo, yeah, this was happening during our time period. I learned about 5%. I learned about Rakim. I learned about just various people that I did not know prior to that conversation. What I'm saying is that there's a due responsibility of us youth needing to learn about who came before us, but also of those that came before us that teach us, right? Because a lot of y'all knew about certain people because it was brought to your attention. You was our age when the song was playing, or you was brought up in a household where your mom was playing this music and these artists was prominent. But they're not prominent today to the same extent and magnitude where we're seeing them through media. So what I'm saying is be slow to judge and learn how to teach. And that's it. So that's my reaction. However y'all feel, leave the comments. I'm that type of person that I love to react to comments. I always respond all above. I'm going to do more videos as such, but I believe that was needed to be said because a lot of times elders can be quick to judge without ever taking on a responsibility of themselves to say, did I do the right job by teaching those that's coming before me? That's it.